Hi, and welcome to another episode. Do you know what really chaps my ass?
Not putting chapstick on your ass.
In 5D.
Did I step on a thing, or were you just really
No,
gonna do it with whatever I said?
that I was just gonna go with whatever you said, but no, for reals. So I have a story. I'm starting a lot of these podcasts now with stories because I don't go outside much.
People like the stories.
People like the stories. Also, I don't go outside much.
Yeah.
It's weathering where I'm at right now. Water is coming together in big clumps of white stuff and is falling from the skies.
It's the end times.
Yeah. No, apparently it's normal up here, and that's okay. However, I made the mistake of going on the local news websites. Their weather page. They had an article that was claiming that this storm might be one to remember. It's very non-committal. I loved it.
What is that even? I mean, any storm could be one to remember. It's the storm where the power went out and I fell down 2 flights of stairs and, broke my tibia.
I imagine it was the closest they could get to a clickbait title without actually losing full integrity and credibility. Yeah. So anyways, not even what this story is about. I thought that was hilarious, but not even what the story is about. The comments down south, or I say down south because at the end, and you should never look at the comments on the internet. Everybody,
don't do it.
Everybody knows this, right? Not new, but I do it because I love chaos. So I look, and one of the top comments, top 3, it moves up and down based on how people vote, is someone complaining that there's too many goddamn tourists and new locals ruining their town, basically.
I like that those are in the same camp. Terrorists and just new people.
No.
In general.
Sorry, ESL, tourists.
Tourists.
I think you heard what you wanted to hear.
You kind of assume at a point.
Yeah, no, fair. Anyways, so no. It's tourists and new locals. So
okay.
Here's what I thought was fucking hilarious, though.
Can I pretend that the story is terrorists and new locals?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess maybe they're blaming all the new locals for it, but it was one of those things where they're making fun of people that are new because they're like, hey, what are you going to do when the snow comes and you're stuck in your house for 4 days? And I'm like, I don't know, whatever normal people do when they're in snowy weather. This isn't the only region that has fucking snow, right? Right. Anyways, so what it made me think was we moved up here from another area that is very much similar. Like, hey, fuck you if you're different. We only accept you if you're within this. Right. Sure, this is a lot broader than in other places, but it's still very much like you kind of have to fall within this.
We have a fucking lane and we're sticking to it.
Exactly. And it just really made me think kind of how bullshit it is that you're in one place and you're not enough of something, and you go to another and you're too much of the other thing. It almost feels like motherfuckers can't fucking get along. But I do feel like if that human conflict wasn't a staple, we wouldn't have had Star Wars Rebels.
This was the big segue you were setting up for? That?
It was exactly that.
Okay. Star Wars Rebels, man. It's been a bit of a journey. So my consumption of media schedule is weird. It usually involves multiple things that only happen in specific scenarios. Don't ask why. It's just how life worked out for this shit.
No, that's just called being a grown-up. I only watch certain things when I work out.
Well, but okay. Mine has more layers than that, though.
Sure, same.
My parfait got fucking got layers.
If you explain yours, I'll explain mine. After Rebels, though, please tell us. I did a whole 10 minutes on this.
So Rebels took me a while to get through just because of the way I was watching Rebels, but made it through, powered through at some points because binge culture and me, like I should be like the prime example of binge culture, but honestly, I can binge maybe a season of a really good show, and then I'm like, I need a palate cleanser. I can't do this.
I can do two, and then it starts to wear on me. The only ones, like the only thing I've been able to kind of really binge is Taskmaster, but they switch up the cast.
Yep. Yep. So all this so far, just like all my reviews, sounds like I'm shitting on it up front. Not at all, though. It was really enjoyable. It's more just 4 seasons of something, and something that was originally geared towards a younger audience. I don't even want to say kids, because when you say kids, people feel like, oh, it's like fucking Pokemon. No, there's definitely death in this, but never like graphic death, over the top death kind of. Like, this is like middle school kid kind of geared show.
Yeah. No blood, just blaster burning marks.
And exploding ships and whatever else,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. All off-screen gore.
So establishes a lot of new canon.
And this is legit canon, right?
Yes. Okay. Yep. Carves out some legit canon. Makes a really nice little nest for itself where it sits and how contained it is and why things do or don't happen the way they're supposed to. All in all, like just taking a big show and really trying to condense it down. Freddie Prinze Jr. slays it as Kanan throughout most of the show. And yes, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. playing the main Jedi.
Okay.
And he kills it. Freddie Prinze Jr. is a goddamn gem. Sarah Michelle Gellar comes in for a while to play one of the Sith Inquisitors.
That's fun. For folks who don't know, it's his wife, which is why it's funny.
Yep. You kind of feel like the main kid. God, do you think after watching 4 seasons of the show, all the names would be super
That's
simple
not how my brain works.
His last name's Bridger, and I don't know why his first name is just escaping me when I need it. But the main Jedi kid I kind of thought would get annoying, and there are parts where he is, but he does hit a couple of points in the story where they Naruto him. He grows the fuck up because he has to, and it works really well. Very happy about that. Loved Hera. So she's like their pilot / like general group leader kind of thing. Twi'lek, badass. Yeah. Loved her. Loved Zev, like a new species that was introduced, voiced by the dude who used to do the voice for like the Toonami robot and Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, the anime.
Okay, yeah.
Great. And so and Chopper, who is voiced by Dave Finoli, the guy who's like running Star Wars right now. He voices the robot Chopper, which is him going. And Chopper's a sassy little dick. Chopper.
Yeah, I mean, I love those little like Easter eggs that they throw in, where it's like, hey, you know that suit person that never talked? That was the writer.
Yeah, yeah. But so the big thing to talk about, I think, especially this week with Rebels and getting great timing to review Rebels, one of the better characters that gives some lore that people might actually really be interested in because of recent shows. There's a Mandalorian character named Sabine. And Sabine actually comes from the line of Mandalorians that are just the disgraced ones. The Death Watch.
Mm-hmm.
She is from Death Watch and then kind of defects her family and leaves to go join or actually joins the Empire, and then defects from the Empire to the Rebels to find a better way of life. Well, it was just announced that Sabine has been cast live action for the new Ahsoka show.
That's right. I remember we had talked about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah, very briefly we had mentioned, but yeah, we have a cast member. She's going to be doing live action. And yeah, one of the better arcs in newer Star Wars canon, like loving what they're doing with Mandalorians, and so having her in here kind of helped get some chances to explain more of what the hell Mandalore is and how they work and why it is the way it is.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think especially with have we decided if Knights of the Old Republic is canon?
From what I've heard, many people are claiming that KOTOR is now canon.
Okay, so with that being true, and all of the craziness with the Mandalorians in KOTOR 2, I'm very interested in how they're going to connect everything, and if they're ever going to tell the full like timeline of what happened to the Mandalorians, because technically, like, they had to find a new planet a couple thousand years ago. And
that's already been brought up within Clone Wars and Rebels.
okay, for sure. How are they dealing with it? No.
I believe the story is the same as far as I remember.
Okay, so it is very much a continuation of that.
I believe so.
Okay. I'd be very interested to see how
I think
much.
Didn't Mandalorian mention that?
Well, he's not part of the original From the Planet, so
Yeah, he's Mandalorian in religion, not Mandalorian in ethnicity.
Yeah.
Or race or whatever,
Exactly.
however you refer to it on a galactic level. I truly don't know what that term species? Is it a species? I don't know what the term is.
It's an order, I think. It's more like the Templars, right? You weren't
But what do you like? Are they a race? Are Mandalorians an ethnicity, a race, a species?
So I think well, depends on what they're considered in the Star Wars universe, because I think they're humans. I think they're just humans. So
don't think they are.
Because humans have kind of spread out throughout that galaxy.
Yeah.
But they're not a different race entirely. They might be a different.
Okay, according to this, they are human, though not specifically, because Mandalorians are also referred to as anybody who follows the Mandalorian religion. There are non-human Mandalorians.
Correct. Which confused the living hell out of me when I was trying to figure out what rules people do or do not live by. Because
rules of the road.
Wait, what? Are we talking Blumpies all around?
Yeah, so all in all, I actually do, and I'll even go this far. I think Rebels is more of a yes, you should watch it than Clone Wars is. If only because there is so much Clone Wars, and I could never look somebody in the eyes and go, yeah, all of it's great. No, there's like 7 or 8 seasons of Clone Wars, and not all of it is great. Some of it is really stagnant shit. Rebels is a lot more straightforward. The second half of the series, I think, actually picks up from the first half of the series. You get some, minor spoiler for anybody who's like super Star Wars purist, like earmuffs on this if you haven't seen Rebels. But you get some great continued action and closure, real closure for Darth Maul.
Yeah, that is true.
Darth Maul is a huge part of Rebels.
Yeah, I recall. I definitely recall that much because I've had to read some of the wiki stuff just to tie the different parts together. Like when the characters showed up other places, I'm like, I have no idea who these people are. So,
and also weirdly, one thing that I never thought would make it into new canon, and Rebels absolutely cemented into new canon, shatter points.
Okay.
Yeah, shatter points, 100% legit. That's a thing. Which is like, I don't know. Star Wars, the movies always felt so subdued with the powers, where like the comics and games always made the powers huge.
Yeah.
And like shatter points are like hugely huge. So for anybody who's not familiar, in the Star Wars lore, the extended lore, there's not a movie you need to rewatch for this. This is like extended lore.
Even in like KOTOR, they had this.
But like KOTOR is like this big, like if you're not into Star Wars, you're not sitting through a giant Star Wars RPG.
That's true.
So shatter points are this big, like they're points in the Force and in time, which is also the Force, that can be changed and distorted. Which, like, once you get to time manipulation, it's big magic, right? It's kind of like the same reason that Rick and Morty refuses to do time travel, because they're already doing so much dimension stuff. They were like, we just, you never know where you are once time travel's included.
Yeah.
Where are we and what's happening? This is kind of the same thing. The Force, magic abilities, call it space sorcery, whatever you want. Once you get to changing moments of fate and rewriting time, you pretty much hit the upper ceiling of what is feasible up until you get to like D&D god killing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, kind of, but the Force is kind of everything whenever they want it to be.
And that, but the movies, it's really subdued.
Yeah.
Like if you were somebody who somehow did not know that Star Wars made anything other than the 9 movies that there are, and like the holiday special or something, right?
Yeah.
You were just unaware that someone out there has been making Star Wars canon, and then all of a sudden you stumble onto it and start reading, you would literally go, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It's so, even KOTOR, even like Force Unleashed, the amount of Force that you use in those games is on such a beyond level
different
of what Jedi do in anything.
The closest
else.
you ever got, and it's why I always still like it, is the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah.
That's the closest you'll ever see that big battle scene. That's the closest you'll see Jedi's Unleash on screen, where it's not just a duel, right?
Oh, and the jump from lightsaber fights in 1, 2, 3 to 4, 5, 6, like in call it 25 years ish, I guess. 20. How old is Luke in that? Is he 20 or is he 25?
Luke is in A New
Hope.
In A New Hope. Oh no, he's barely of age, right? Because he can barely join the academy. So he's maybe 2021. He's young.
How old is Luke in A New Hope? At the time, Luke is 19 years old. At the time of Empire Strikes Back, 22. So a 19-year difference. Basically, this is canon without being actually, it probably is explicitly said. I just don't know where. But in 19 years, the Empire manages to go, yeah, those Jedi that were like really commonly known and everywhere, that's just a story. It's hokum and religion. That shit was never real. And all the fanciful lightsaber fighting, duelists, and the skill of this is completely lost and abandoned. Even like watching Kylo, who just fights like a hammer. There's no flippy tricks. There's no... It's like the entire 19 years to change the course of an entire galaxy. This is Mass Effect level. Like, we got rid of we adopted clips and ammo capacities. I know just a couple years ago we had infinite bullets, but now we've all decided to do this other thing instead of that.
So this has been one of those things that nerds have debated for a while. Trust me, it's happened. I'm not going to vehemently defend one or the other, but here is what the consensus, best I can tell, what they say. While the Jedi are very common in these stories, they weren't so common that they actually propagated that widely throughout the galaxy. It was very rare to actually see a Jedi. So a lot of these stories...
They were part of the government.
Sure, and in the core worlds, that's fantastic. But the galaxy as a whole... hold on, bear with me.
This is like not believing that the FBI exists because you live in rural Kansas.
Bear with me. What I imagine George Lucas was trying to do is think the concept of the Templars. They were a big integral part of the government, and then they were pretty much wiped out. Not just because they were wiped out, but because even talking about them or even mentioning them was punishable. So if we have already agreed that the Empire was able to have a tyrannical rule in those 19 years and really take over every aspect, where it's only this tiny little band of rebels that still survives, if we've already bought into that, then we need to also buy into the fact that the Empire has taken over and made it so painful to talk about the Jedi that they've basically started to eradicate them in, what is akin to maybe a generation. All the new folks just don't know about the Jedi, except in whispers from the elderly folks who don't know any better but still talk about the old stories. Again, this is because I had that same question too. This is what's generally accepted. I don't know, dude. I believe it if only because I've seen the state of the internet right now and how quickly misinformation propagates. So, how easy is it for the truth to be buried with all this misinformation?
It's like the moon landing, man. It's all fake. It's all fake, man.
Oh my god, we are not. We are not. This is not the episode to go down legit conspiracy theories. That needs its own episode.
So, Rebels, I will say, summing up the past 20 minutes here. Rebels is a watch over Clone Wars. I do think it's a much more straightforward story, a very well done story. Hits a lot of key stuff. Actually answers a few really good questions that I think a lot of like fans would have had.
Mm-hmm.
Solid, really solid. Happy with Rebels.
Give it a rating.
Man, Rebels is probably a solid 5 Freddie Prinze Jr.'s out of 5 Freddie Prinze Jr.'s.
Ooh, you throw a Matthew Lillard in there, and it's damn right perfect.
It's only got one Matthew Lillard. Yeah.
That's why you got to use them sparingly.
Really enjoyed it. You get some scenes with some like favorite characters that you haven't seen in a while, some updates on what motherfuckers are up to, kind of shit.
Okay.
Really cool.
All right, cool. Yeah, the problem with both the animated shows is there's just so much.
There's a lot. Yeah, don't binge it. Make this a filler show.
So
you're cooking and you need something on the background that's kind of dope. This is the show.
I think I've watched the first 2 seasons of Clone Wars 2 or 3 times because I always fucking forget and I go back. I'm like, here, I'm just gonna watch it from the beginning.
Just power through.
Doesn't work out. I just.
The best season is the new one they just did, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting. Really?
The brand new final season. Yeah, dude, they go into Order 66.
That makes me real excited to, watch the rest of it to get to the best season.
That's not saying the others are bad, just like that new one they did was really, really good.
Fair enough. I'm sure I'll find the time. For those who are listening to the audio, I'm making that I have no fucking clue what's going to happen face because there's so much new shit going on. I'm barely having a hard time keeping up. But I will say, I've watched all of Hawkeye that's out as of yesterday. Hawkeye. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. If that's how you want to weirdly say it. He's also grinning in an awkward way.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it, and I'm 4 episodes in.
So far, I think I'm enjoying it. I like Jeremy Renner. I like that guy.
I like that Renner.
Guy. I like him. He's super fun. In all the ones he's been in, I like him as that character. I forget the actress's
Haley
name.
Steinfeld?
Sure. She's been in a few things that I've really enjoyed her
She was in Pitch Perfect 3, you acca bitch.
Okay. So she's fine.
He pretends, but we saw all of them together.
Yeah, no, I know I've seen them, but like
she was
it's not like she wasn't the funny one in the first movie. She's somebody in the third movie.
Yeah, she's the main character in the third movie. You know how they're trying to shift focus to this other person? So yeah.
Okay. So she's Scrubs season 7, great. Or whatever, season 8, whatever that fucking she's that.
Yeah.
Fine. But and again, I was trying to give her a goddamn compliment. She's really good in the stuff I've seen her in. So if she was in that, I'm sure I enjoyed her because I didn't mark her down as somebody to never pay attention to again.
Fair enough.
So far, I think what's really lacking in Hawkeye for me is a nice big villain. I'm waiting for like a good villain, and I don't think we've seen our good villain drop yet.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of the same problem that I had with Winter Soldier Falcon. Without a good villain, it's just an action movie done in long format. And while this has a little more charm and humor than I think Falcon Winter Soldier did, man, I really wanted to like that one, and it just fell so flat for me. And I can't quite put my finger on what it was. I just couldn't get into it. This one, I'm having an easier time getting into. I think it's a little more charming and quirky. I think the actors are doing a good job. I just want a big punchy villain. That's what I'm like episode 5. Let's do it. Let's hit it with a big crunchy ass villain.
I agree. So this is something that I've started to notice of the shows that I can only seem to fucking care if they have stakes. And it's not stakes about everyone else. It's about me. So I liked WandaVision. Why? Because Vision's dead. So there's some stakes in there. Like there's an interesting bit. There's something to draw me in. What happened? Same with Loki. Like it's like okay, so where is this
Well,
happening? What
uh,
is this?
to tag on to WandaVision, it was also oozing with style. I love
Of
the
course, of
whole
course.
modeling it as different points of sitcom history. That was fantastic. Loved that.
Um, so I obviously, and we've talked about this style so much. I didn't want to jump to that, but I'm just talking like general interest, whether I'll even make an effort to watch it. Same reason why it took me so long to see Black Widow. Same reason why fucking I just saw Hawkeye and I just got caught up on Shang-Chi, which I also want to talk about. Um, so they're just I don't understand the stakes so far because look, uh, spoiler, not massive spoiler, but spoiler. The suit shows up. Okay, that's fine, and then we could just grab it and go, and we're fine, right? He's got it. We're done. Why did
I
it?
mean,
Why did it go further than that? Like it doesn't make. There's no big stakes. All of this stuff just. It feels like what Arrow was trying to do, but I think they both didn't really do very well with it.
Arrow had too much crying. That I couldn't fucking make it
No,
through any
but
of Arrow.
forget what it
They
became
cried too
eventually.
much.
But the first couple episodes of Arrow were very much this. They were this like we don't really know who the big baddie is. There's this mystery thing. Yeah, we don't know how he survived, so that had a little bit of mystery. But it was still very much like because I'm trying not to do too much spoiler or too much speculation. Although I guess we could just say spoilers and speculation. If you haven't seen Hawkeye,
Okay.
yep, go see it. I know not everybody at Disney Plus, but yar. So with Hawkeye, like the whole connection with the parents and all of that, where you're like, oh, villain connection. It feels very Arrow, not just because they shoot
Yeah,
arrows,
I'm just
even thematically.
I think once we get our big punchy villain, it'll all get better. God damn it, it better.
Do you have any
Yeah.
guesses? Fine. Give me a speculation. Who do you think the big punchy villain's gonna be?
Mephisto, just like everybody else keeps saying for every fucking Marvel project that comes
That's
out.
hilarious.
It's gonna be Mephisto. This is the one, guys. This is where Mephisto comes in. That's what I'm sticking with.
Really, that's your legit prediction?
That's what I'm sticking with. It's gonna be. I mean, honestly, that's if we get one at all. To be honest, there's a huge chance they don't do it, and this all just leads up to Hawkeye retiring and Kate Bishop becoming the new Hawkeye, which is a thing that happened in the comics.
I know.
I really think they're just gearing up towards Young Avengers.
Yeah. Sadly, I honestly think that that's the truth.
I'm cool. Young Avengers were actually a really cool team. Yeah, Young Avengers are cool, and maybe this will urge DC to make like a better Teen Titans show because both the ones they have are garbage.
I guess I'd never read the comics, but I'm kind of annoyed at the portrayal of Kate Bishop. Again, nothing against Haley, but like she's 22, she's not 17, and they're making her act like all like I talk really fast and I da. It just seems like way more childish than I maybe would have been the character.
She is.
She's Peter Parker-ish.
Kinda.
Okay, fair enough.
At least in the bits that I've read. Not that I've read a lot of Kate Bishop. Though, interesting one to throw this out there just while we're talking Marvel. They're doing a run that is entirely cliche, and yet I'm still interested in it.
Okay.
So they're doing another Spider-Man multiverse story. Hold on to your hat, right?
Okay.
This time
in the comics?
In the comics.
Okay.
So they're doing another Spider-Man multiverse run, which they've done a few of already.
Yeah.
But this time it's called Gweniverse, and it is it's what if Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy, whatever, took after different heroes than Spider-Man. So there's like a Captain America Gwen, there's a Wolverine Gwen, there's a Thor Gwen. And so it's all of these different possibilities for Gwen. And I guess the big tie-in is they're about to do a what if 5-issue series that's the same thing, but for Miles Morales.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's interesting.
Right? Like it's been done. We get it. There's a Spider-Verse, but this is at least a like it gives a lot of room to flex and play with characters in some really fun ways.
I agree. So I'm actually super for the what ifs. I love little one shots.
So only the Miles Morales is a one if though. The Gweniverse
Oh,
is canon.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, with the multiverse being a thing, yeah. Okay.
Also, did you see the Enter the Spider-Verse 2 trailer?
I haven't seen the trailer yet. I was super late to watching Into the Spider Verse. I watched it like 2 years after it came out.
It's real good though.
It's solid. Yeah, it was solid. Also, I I played the video game with Miles Morales first, so then watching him on screen was a little weird, but still,
Um,
I enjoyed it.
the new movie is part one. They're gonna split the next movie into two parts.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about that. I like the self-contained story of the first one.
Do you want me to tell you some of the stuff that happens in the trailer, or do you want to see it raw?
No, it's fine. Tell me.
Okay, you're gonna like this because I know you were a fan of the comic.
Oh, 2099?
2099 is gonna
Yeah,
be in it,
I love.
which is dope,
Hey, the legitimately a Hispanic dude.
right? Yep.
Yeah, I was into it. I
And one of the other things that looks like they're gonna do. Remember how in Into the Spider-Verse, each version of Spider-Man was kind of like a different art style?
yeah.
Well, this time Miles is going through the other dimensions, and he gets drawn in their art style every time he hops over.
Oh, that's cool. That's stylistic. That's dope. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. So are you excited for what is it? No Way Home?
I think No Way Home's gonna be good. I worry that they're hyping it too much
Yeah,
because they keep talking about like this one's fucking dark and this one's got this brutal ending and it's gonna blow you away. And I'm like, guys, we were all pretty much sold at like it's the third Spider-Man. Stop. You're already hurting a lot of people's hearts. Like I get that they're finally at least calling it Sinister Six, and so now we're all against a rock and a hard place, right? Because for a while we've all been saying stop just adding more villains to sequels. It's tired and we hate it. But at the same time, the Sinister Six is actually just a legitimate thing for Spider-Man to fight.
yep.
So we're at this like, okay, you've done the thing we asked you not to do, but it sounds like you're doing it the right way, and you're hyping it to fuck. You're bringing back Michael Keaton for fucking Vulture, which was big. Tobey Maguire's gonna be in it. You need to land this ship,
Yeah.
especially after like Eternals underperformed. I was told Shang-Chi didn't do what they wanted it to do. Black Widow underperformed. This could be a bad failure if this shit doesn't slap.
Yes, especially because the other two Spider-Mans have been solid.
Yeah.
Like, say what you want about the last Spider-Man.
Well, and third Spider-Man movies are cursed.
Okay.
The third Sam Raimi one was terrible. The third Andrew Garfield one was supposed to happen and totally fell apart due to a whole bunch of fucking moving parts.
but that was because number 2 wasn't great.
Number one wasn't great either.
I've never seen it. I've never seen the number 1 from Garfield.
So he's great consistently. I really like what's her face is Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone. She's great, but they have such a villain problem in the Sony movies. The Lizard goes from like nice guy to super Nazi in like no seconds flat, and the CG on it is fucking atrocious.
Oh,
It's
man.
so bad, even for the time, because it's a few years old now. Even for the time, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And then the whole fucking dubstep fight scene with Electro. And honestly, after a while, God,
I didn't
was
hate
just like,
that. I did not hate
hated
it.
Hated it.
I thought it was cool because I like dubstep, but
Hated it.
just
hated
me
it.
then.
Hated it. Hated it. I hated that more than I hated Leia force pulling herself back into the ship. I thought that was
Wait,
clever.
you're just saying
Yes.
that to hurt me. You
Nope.
are just saying that to hurt me.
100% honest.
You hate
I
it?
hated that dubstep fight scene so much. It was so fucking stupid.
Stupider than just fucking ruining canon and all kinds of.
How did that break canon? She force pulled herself back in. The force works in all kinds of mysterious
Sure,
ways.
it was more of a the kind of send off that we could have given for that fucking character and the impact.
I do think it was a wasted opportunity, but I didn't hate that scene.
I fucking, the reason I loathe that is because, look, if they would have just ended it with the explosion, you end it with Kylo killing his fucking mother, and that is fucking impactful. So it colors the rest of the series. It would have done a lot more to explain his actions later on than I just feel like that was another one of those moments. It wasn't the only one, but it was just another one of those moments that together break that movie for me so fucking bad. Anyways,
that movie has other fucking problems. We don't need to get into it, but no, that a lot of people just chalk the whole thing, like her force pulling herself back onto a ship after being ejected, was just dumb. And I was like, you know what? It's not any fucking dumber than anything else. Like force jumping, they jump extra high with magic. That's just as fucking dumb as pulling yourself onto a ship with magic. I'm sorry, it is.
I think it was the breathing in a vacuum and existing in a vacuum for an extended period, but
it's all the Force. The Force can rewrite time. We were just talking about it's fucking magic
for sure, but it's
just space magic.
It seems like a MacGuffin anyways, plus all the other stuff.
But right, it's literally the MacGuffin that franchise is built on. And people are like, let's put it back in its box, guys. We can't let space magic go too far. Honestly, it's space magic.
There was more than that. The Force was being used in a funky way, specifically in that movie.
We don't like the way you're using your space magic.
Well, no, come on, you know how nerddoms are, man. Like, it isn't just that.
That's what this is. You know, if this is gonna be D&D, you couldn't cast it at that level. That's what we're fucking doing right now.
No, so
we're putting the space magic in a box.
Beside that, and look, I'm not saying I fucking agree because I'm not the one to make that argument. I always make this is why it breaks the fucking story and why I hated it. A lot of folks just felt that that movie in particular, in many different instances, used the Force as a crutch for poor writing. That's what.
Oh, but hold on. If there's any scene we're going to hold up to just being poor writing in that movie, there are lots of other ones. That scene is more or less
for sure, but
any other call in that movie.
Again, it wasn't only a terrible piece of writing; it was a terrible kind of send off for a character. It was.
I think that where I will agree, it was wasted because that is where we should have sent off Carrie Fisher. It is. Yeah. We should have just let her go down the tragic death and then pick up that fucking momentum. Agreed.
Yeah.
But if you're complaining about her being thrown out of the ship and force pulling herself back onto the ship, I think you're being a nitpicky little baby. Putting on your little baby pants and you pick it.
But it's not just about the scene. It's not the only one. It's one of a series, right? Like even the throwing of the lightsaber, it wasn't a big deal by itself, but when you put
the fucking we'll fight them by protecting what we love. Fuck you and your Hallmark card that you apparently grew up reading. No.
Well, and it was like, we'll tell you about your parents. Oh no, they're shit. They're nobody. We're just kidding. I mean, come on.
That was brutal. If I'm being honest, I actually liked that. I wouldn't even have changed it to where she was secretly Palpatine's granddaughter. Legitimately, I'd be like, we'll tell you the secret of your parents. They didn't matter. The end, because you know what? Not every fucking Jedi needs to be a solo Skywalker.
I am 100% with you. I'm
100% fucked.
Except that they shouldn't have fucking built it up.
Why? But then it gets to be this character thinks she's important because of her name, and instead she learns she's important because of her actions. Fucking Disney written all over that shit. It would have been great. That was not the problem. There were problems. That wasn't it.
It's one of them. It's also one of them. No. As much as I understand what
Star Wars 8, why did you do this to us? Look what you've done to the franchise.
I don't even know that. I never get that rage. I've never written an angry letter to any of these people. I'm not that guy. I just bitch about it on
But
the
I
internet.
got real close on this one.
No. I was very pissed. I fucking, well, honestly, because
I sure wasn't happy about it.
well, it's because I paid money, right? I paid money to go see this fucking movie.
The most insulting part was watching that movie and going, man, this didn't feel like a Star Wars movie. And then finding out that this asshole had the ego to be told by legends, by the original actors of Star Wars, and go, hey, this doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie. And him go, we have to make our movie. No, you were paid to make a Star Wars movie, you prick.
Yeah.
We all knew what we wanted.
Especially, look, here's the thing. If this was a brand new franchise and this is how the director wanted to end it,
yeah,
fucking go for it. It is your property. It's like, so you see what, Taika Waititi did with Thor?
Taika.
I'm sorry. I'm terrible with fucking names. Taika Waititi. I honestly never mean offense for, Patrick Warburton.
Patrick Warburton, yeah.
See? No offense meant. I'm just terrible at fucking names. Anyways, if it would have been his own product, I'm like, dude, go for it. What Taika Waititi did with Ragnarok, while it's his own spin on it, it's still...
I preferred his spin on it, to be honest. I don't like the first two Thor movies. I think they're pretty terrible.
No, that's fine. I'm saying that there's a right way to do your own spin.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that is a way that works, because you take on what has already been established and you show progression and development, right? You don't have to write the exact same Star Wars movie as the last one. I don't think Empire is the same as New Hope. They're entirely different.
Yeah, they are.
Thematically. So, again, you can do that. You can make your own spin. You can make it darker or not. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. But you don't have to. It felt a purposeful slap in the face, not to the fandom, but to all of the things they set up in The Force Awakens. Like, because I like...
Yeah, I liked Force Awakens, and it really did shit on it.
I like Force Awakens because, look, as much as it was A New Hope, it was a modern take of A New Hope with potential modern themes and situations that we're tackling now. Films are a dark mirror to the state of things.
Yes.
And say what you want, Force Awakens was that. And the hate that it got and the love that it got was all part of that show. Mm-hmm. And it set up a bunch of things, not just thematically, but also like canon, within. This is supposed to be new canon. This is legit. This is the first time we have official stuff to put out on the big screen, right?
Yeah.
In the original trilogy. And then number two, he just goes, well, let me subvert all that. Okay, why? To make the story better? No, let's just subvert their expectations. Okay, wait. Are you going to introduce and really set up these new themes? Are you coming, like, what are we doing?
Part of me, at this point, remember, it was originally supposed to be J.J. Abrams for 1, Rian Johnson for 2, right? And then people hated 8 so much, they were like, nope, not that fucking guy. And so they switched back to J.J. Abrams.
Yep.
Part of me, honestly, he fucked up 8. I'm, at this point, really curious what he was going to do with 9. Maybe he had something, like, mind-blowing that would have just landed that ship. Bringing in J.J. Abrams just made it feel flat because you had a guy who was trying to remarry what he started with what somebody else handed him. And then people also really hate on 9. 9, I feel like, doesn't deserve it. 9 cobbled together what it could.
No.
It did other than the Emperor thing. I don't get the Emperor thing. I don't know why we had to go back to the Emperor. But other than that, I think it really cobbled together the best story that it could have.
Let me give you an example.
We have to take down the Hawkeye picture. We're just not going to talk about Hawkeye. Just put up a generic. It's just Star Wars. Welcome to Star Wars for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're just gonna put this up because I don't have another.
Yep.
So 9 felt like an episode of a miniseries versus a full-fledged film.
I feel like to me, it really looks like what it was. This was somebody trying to finish somebody else's movie franchise, or even like when you hear about like some writer taking over another book franchise, and you can just tell
the
writing's
course.
different.
Or like even when like
the
person's like son or daughter takes over writing the series, you can always tell the difference. Yeah,
this was just it was somebody doing the best they could with what they were handed, and part of me is like, fuck it, maybe we should have just let Rian Johnson do whatever he was gonna do. It might have at least had a better tone running throughout the whole thing.
I don't know, because
I still haven't seen Knives Out. Maybe it's really good.
I don't know. Again, I can't say for his other work. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like he came in and tried to make a point, and his point was that I suck at making Star Wars movies. I don't think he deserved another film, because again, if he would have given it his best and it came out, that's one thing, right?
Sure.
Like, sometimes you swing and you fucking miss. Okay. But purposely trying to take shit apart, whatever, dude. 9 is a fucking conundrum, because it's supposed to be tying up loose ends, but it opens up so many more of its own.
Well, but just like anything with Star Wars, it's supposed to lead into 45 other projects, and it did, and then they were all canceled. Yeah. And then they announced 45 other projects, and now most of those are also canceled.
Yeah, I'm really sad that the fucking Rangers of the Republic isn't happening.
But I am excited that the Rogue Squadron's happening.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on, man. You know me. I love Wing Commander. I love all that shit. Even though...
I'm not a big piloting guy, but I think that movie's going to be dope. What?
Nothing. The Matthew Lillard, Freddie Prinze Jr. connection.
Oh, Wing Commander?
Yeah. Ah, man, I thought you'd catch it too.
Yeah, I think I've seen Wing Commander like once.
Probably twice, and they were both with me.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't hate it, man. It's definitely one of those movies.
But you also like Last Starfighter.
I do. Ooh, I do.
Last Starfighter needs a reboot. I think if anything needs a reboot, Last Starfighter, it would only benefit from a reboot.
Yeah, and this time they can use a teenager that actually looks like a teenager, not like he's fucking 30. I mean, that happens all the time, but back then it was a little bit clearer that he definitely wasn't that young.
Thanks for the extra sandwich, Mom. Puberty's been a bitch.
Oh my God. She taught me how to shave. No, Last Starfighter doesn't need a reboot. Wing Commander,
Last Starfighter getting love in the chat.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love it. I always wanted to see more in that universe. I'm like, this sounds really cool. I also want to see the people that don't make it, because I mean, you're just a fucking playing a video game. You show up and they put you in this bitch. Yeah. Well, like,
it's very Galaxy Quest.
Yeah,
which is getting a show.
They've been saying that forever. I'm actually looking forward to that.
I think it'll be good. I'm also, the Starship Trooper is supposed to be getting a show.
Yes, and also rumor mill is starting to go again for another Stargate series, because apparently Amazon is trying to buy MGM and all its properties.
Oh, interesting.
So
what does MGM have these days? Let's find out.
They do all the 007s, I believe. They still own that property. What else? Obviously Stargate.
Let's see. Yeah, hold on. I'm pulling them up right now. Let's see. Okay. So, wow. This cannot be everything. Here's what IMDb shows they have for film series. The Thin Man, Andy Hardy, Dr. Kildare, Maisie, Dr. Gillespie, James Bond, Pink Panther, That's Entertainment, Rocky, Poltergeist, RoboCop, Stargate, Legally Blonde, and Barbershop. That cannot be everything that they own.
Well, I mean, they have
MGM.
like other individual, the Rocky franchise.
I said Rocky though.
Fuck you. I mean, they've got like TV stuff too.
It's like what can Amazon get their hands on that they can?
Well, James Bond for that's
But
still
again, you said
pretty bad.
that.
Well, oh, okay. You mean additionally?
Yeah,
So
that's what like what could they be working on now
so
if they own
apparently,
that?
Handmaiden's Tale's theirs.
Okay.
I already said Fargo.
Okay,
Um,
so they own the Silence of the Lambs series.
okay, Vikings, which I know you and I aren't into, but I think it got
I did watch
pretty
the
big.
first couple of seasons of Vikings.
Yeah. So they have a couple of things. I mean, they have been kind of declining. I'm sure they have a bunch of other smaller movie properties, and especially if Amazon's trying to get into the reboot game, as they've shown with Lord of the Rings or whatever. It might be that they're just trying to do extensions of stuff or trying to bring up old properties that MGM owns.
They own the Adams Family. Which have you seen the new ones?
I haven't seen. I saw the animated one and it was great.
Yeah, those are the ones I'm talking about. They're really good.
There's more than one.
They a new one just came out this Halloween.
Is that not the one I saw?
It's called the Adams Family 2, so if you didn't know you were watching 2, that's really on you.
Huh. Well, apparently, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Is this the one where they move? Tell me it's the one where they.
The one where they move is the first one, and the second one is where they go on vacation.
Oh, well, now I have to go watch it because the first one was hilarious.
Like, shockingly,
Yeah.
the only thing I didn't like was the design on Gomez. Oh, I think we talked about it on here.
Yeah, no, we did. Yeah, no, I agree. He he looks weird and oddly shaped. Um, I do like that they.
From the chat, have you seen either Battle Beyond the Stars or Ice Pirates? I have, but like when I was in elementary, I literally couldn't tell you anything about them.
I've
They're
never
like some
heard
of those
of either of these two things.
really low budge, old school, like 80s sci-fi. What I'm gonna say about here. Look, pull these up while I talk about them really quick. Battle Beyond the Stars and Ice Pirates. I'm gonna say Battle Beyond the Stars. Ugh, somewhere between like 78 and 83. That's what I'll give it.
You are correct. It's
Okay, hold on. Let me try and narrow it in. Let's go. Is that 82
Do you want me to answer now?
for Battle Beyond the Stars? Yes.
1980.
Damn it. Okay. And then Ice Pirates. Fuck. Why do I feel like Ice Pirates is older? But man, hearing that Battle Beyond the Stars is 1980 makes me think it's not older and it's just shittier. I'll go 82 on that one.
Do you want me to tell you now?
Yes.
Or should I say higher or lower?
No, just do it.
1984.
Oh, wow. So it is just shittier.
Yeah. I mean, it could have also been like filmed prior and stuck in production hell, right?
Something, yeah. Both honestly, like they're you know how there's like those horror classics, like really shitty horror movies like Pandemonium,
Or even
that
like
are just kind of like
Phantoms.
or like Sleepaway Camp. You know what I mean? Like shitty horror movies that are great and worth watching. Both Battle Beyond the Stars and Ice Pirates are that for sci-fi. Real shit sci-fi that is just so fun to watch.
Okay, like is it because of the story or just because it's fun to watch old-timey movies and sci-fi?
I will say, I remember I watched them when I was in elementary school, so in the 90s. So they were like 10 years old, but it was the kind of thing like our babysitters' kids would show us because they're like, oh, here's this like super cheesy movie that like you won't be scared of and is just dumb and fun.
Okay. So it's kind of like Kindergarten Cop or Jesus, the Hulk movie that is terrible but awesome.
Yeah. Though to be fair, these are the same babysitters' kids who
Hulk
also
Hogan.
showed me things.
That's not the Hulk. Hulk
Oh,
Hogan.
you're talking about Thunder in Paradise, or are you talking about
Adventures
Suburban
Commando. So if
Yeah.
it's something like that,
Ice Pirates is a comedy. Some of its jokes might be dated. Okay, good to know. Definitely don't remember that. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that kind of like super cheeseball sci-fi, super
my God,
old, super janky.
every time we talk about this, I always want to talk about this fucking random movie that I've seen about aliens that fucking invade a small town, and it's like on I think it's on Halloween, so no one takes them fucking seriously, and
And the thing that they're trying to get is called Kubi, and it's secretly candy.
no,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not that one. You and I have had this fucking conversation so many times. I have to find the name of that fucking show.
You will have to find the name of that show.
But yeah, they're tiny little like pudgy little aliens with fucking antenna, and nobody fucking takes them seriously because they look like children running around, and they're here like to take over the fucking planet.
Oh no, that
But they're like super confused.
yeah, and they're idiots. No,
Wow.
this is fuck. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen the movie.
Okay.
What the fuck is this
It's
called?
I wanted to rewatch
Not
this to
Mars
see if it.
Attacks.
No, definitely not Mars Attacks. I love Mars Attacks. I want to find the name of this movie to buy it. I actually want to buy this. This is a part of my childhood. I love this fucking movie, but
Just fucking spaced invaders.
okay. Now I'm looking that up, and I'm gonna bring up a graphic because
It is spaced invaders. One of them's got like the Letterman jacket and shit.
yeah,
Yeah, it's spaced invaders.
1990.
Yeah.
So right on that cusp
Yep. Yep.
of before the 90s grittiness.
I actually think I rewatched this recently.
Oh, we should, and then we should review it.
I want to say I actually like recently rewatched this movie.
You're like, I'm not
Uh,
doing this. So does it hold up then?
no.
It was
No, even in the chat, he got to Space Invaders around we did. Here's one that you and it wouldn't be a rewatch. I doubt you've seen this. There is two of them. They're old, cheesy Halloween horror movies. I think they were ABC made for TV movies
okay.
called Mr. Boogety. And it was all about like this old witch who like used to terrorize the town. And the only thing I remember from these movies is the dad owns a joke shop, and at one point he gets possessed by Mr. Boogety, and he's like floating around his office going Boogety. Kidding, just kidding. Boogety. I'm kidding. Boogety. That's the only thing I remember. I'm sure the
So
movie is absolute dog shit, but I really want to rewatch it.
okay, so the problem with this is that this is from the 80s, and it was way before the time of shit that I could watch,
I'm sure.
especially for Disney because they kept it on
Was it
cable.
Disney?
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Boogety is a 1986 Disney product. I don't know if it was originally Disney, but they definitely.
No, it was like an ABC family,
Okay.
Disney. Yeah, that fits in.
And apparently there
perfectly.
were two. There was Mr. Boogety and
Yep.
Bride of Boogety
Yep.
in 1987, a year later. So I have watched neither of these things because it was before. Disney always kept their shit in cable, so I wouldn't have been able to get it on public access television or any of the channels, the bunny ears I had.
If these, okay, I'm gonna look up one thing and then we can end this. But is this on Disney Plus? Do we have homework for ourselves and for our audience? It is Disney. It's a long shot.
It is a long shot. I don't know that. Well, maybe.
Mr. Boogety and Bride of Boogety are 100%
Oh my God.
on Disney Plus.
Oh.
You know what else I actually really want to rewatch? Did you ever watch any of the Disney made-for-TV movies when we were in like middle school, high school? So like Luck of the Irish.
Oh, I was about to say Luck of the Irish, you motherfucker.
That one
Oh.
and the fucking like Xenon
Yeah,
Girl of the 21st century.
I don't know if that holds up, bro.
Oh, it definitely does not hold up. There's no way it could, and we need to rewatch these.
I would be down because I remember liking Luck of the Irish. Because I also liked God, I don't know if you remember the Fox Kids show. It was Knights of Ternanog. Oh, it was basically think Power Rangers, but in medieval times they got their powers from fairies, then they turned into different suits of armor with different powers, and they fought Celtic evils, I believe. Well, a mishmash of shit, but it was Celtish. I don't know if that's a word.
Oh, so it was like another, from the look of, at least from what I pulled up right here, this is no different than like VR Troopers, Big Bad
Exactly.
Beetleborgs, except it's fantasy instead of like cyber.
Exactly. So like
My God.
yeah, I got no room to fucking judge.
Never watched this. Okay, on Nights of fucking Tirnanog.
Yeah, I'm not even ashamed because it actually sparked my interest in Celtic mythology as well. Because I was like, I don't understand any of these fucking names, and I didn't realize how closely it was tied to some of the precursor to the Arthurian legends, and why shows like Merlin pull from that part of it when you just talk about like post Arthur, it was a little bit more knights chivalry, less Celtic druidy.
Are you gonna go get a super dope Celtic knot tattoo now?
I've never been ironic when it comes to shit like that. I'm just not that guy either. At one point, I wanted to get a big giant fucking dragon, and then I was told it would take multiple days with several hours, and I was like, okay, less interested now. I don't like the idea of me willingly putting myself on a place to be repeatedly stabbed by another person. Just it doesn't appeal to me. So that's why I've never gotten a tattoo. Also,
It's funner than it sounds.
you say that, but anyways, I am gonna go try and find Space Invaders now that I know what the fuck it is, and I want to see if it holds up because it is an interesting part of my childhood. I don't even remember how that DVD ended up at my house because remember we didn't have any money to spend on
I
shit.
doubt you had it on DVD and it was VHS.
Ooh, that might have been true because sometimes we'd get shit donated and sometimes it was like old VHSs.
Yeah.
That's also how I watched like the old black and white Superman cartoons. Like, I feel sad that all that shit is gone now because we lost it in a flood. But anyways, yeah, Space Invaders. We'll check it out. On that note, check us out Tuesday nights, 7 to 9, twitch.tv /Metagame Network. Yeah, I did remember. There's going to be one more multiplayer night this year before the holiday break, and then we will be back sometime after the second once I've mostly sobered up. Also, in 5D Podcast, check us out on YouTube. We are there Monday, 7 to 8. And yeah, I think this is the last one for at least after the holiday. For the folks that watch it live.
Can we start branding it as Holiday?
Holiday. You gotta add that at the end, the die.
Okay.
But yes, or if you want to know, H Dizzle is also acceptable. Final words, Bonsai.
Don't whiz on the electric fence.
All right. Bye.
It's from Ren and Stimpy.